Disney is currently promoting a new disgusting show on the Disney Plus platform titled Dying for Sex. And this is actually based on a true story of a woman diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer who then divorces her husband of 15 years and embarks on a journey of sexual self-exploration. So in her dying wish, she would like to experiment in BDSM with as many strangers as possible, receive dick pics, and hook up with men from dating apps.
Okay.
And this is her journey before she lays to eternal rest. Just as much sodomy and degeneracy as possible before her last breath.
Hollywood loves that.
You know, I am against this just in principle, but some people are also pointing out, of course, that this being on the Disney Plus platform is a problem, given the fact that I'm assuming most parents assume, oh, it's Disney, it's appropriate, we can put our children in front of Disney Plus. They're not going to be exposed to pornography, right?
There are children settings
Yes.
for kids on Disney Plus. I'd say I agree with Lorena Creole in the comment. She says it has parental controls, has for years, and I've always implemented them. If you think Disney equals family friendly, where the heck have you been for the last 10 years?
No, I agree, but there are a lot of people who aren't really hip to what's going on with Disney and what they're promoting and the messaging. But Libs of TikTok posted a tweet about this. Received from multiple sources, Disney is advertising a series called Dying for Sex on the front page of their streaming service. One source says their 6-year-old saw it and started asking about it. I thought this application was supposed to be family friendly. What's going on at Disney Plus? Another one commented, my 11-year-old saw it and started asking questions. I couldn't scroll fast enough for her not to see it. Was just trying to watch something nice with the kids, but Disney Plus threw away family entertainment a long time ago.
Time to gaslight the children. That's not what you thought it said. It didn't say that. It said Rex. Mm-hmm. Dying for Rex. Rex is a dinosaur.
Right.
Dying for Rex. Unfortunately, son and or daughter, you're not old enough to watch it. You can watch it when you're 16.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Disney shouldn't be putting this front and center as soon as you open the platform.
I mean, it's
regardless of parental
basically
controls.
just Hulu now.
It's the bundle with Hulu and
it's
also
basically
ESPN.
just Hulu now.
But they have, this is from FX Network's description for the show. It says it's inspired by the story of Molly Kochen, originally shared on a podcast created with her best friend Nikki Boyer. After Molly receives a diagnosis of stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, she decides to leave her husband, Steve, and begins to explore the full breadth and complexity of her sexual desires for the first time in her life.
Can I ask a question?
She gets the courage and support to go on this adventure from her best friend who stays by her side till the very end.
Look, okay, I haven't seen this. I don't know. But am I to at least hope that I can find out that the husband is like an abusive, bad person to justify this? Because they're not doing that. They're not framing this as she's throwing away years of commitment in marriage so that she can have sex with other people. They're framing it as a good thing, and the only way that I can ever imagine that being done in a fair light is if he was abusive or a bad person, which gives her the impetus to do so. Instead, it just seems like they're saying, for your own selfish whims, leave the person you've been committed to for X amount of years because you got a terminal cancer diagnosis.
It's supposed to be in sickness and in health. It's supposed to be till death do us part.
I mean, it's kind of an Uno reverse on the trope where the husband leaves the wife when she gets sick.
That is true. Yeah, that is statistically quite prevalent and
so
scary.
Now, gentlemen, if anybody ever brings up a scene like this in a movie where the guy leaves the wife because she's sick, you say, Uno reverse, what about this movie?
See, this concept is just so much worse to me than merely the degeneracy you see in White Lotus or in Euphoria or name whatever show is out right now. Because of the fact that it is based on a true story as well, but also because it's mixing this promotion of sexual degeneracy with other themes about mortality, and it's mixing all of these different themes together rather than just presenting you with pornography per se. It's telling you this is the pinnacle of the human experience, having Tinder hookups. Like, that's what they're telling you with this message. And I want to watch the trailer to show the tone they're trying to strike here. It's quite disturbing.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Seriously, you never had an orgasm?
No, like I would get close. Like, you know when it feels like a little sneeze?
Skills issue.
I'm not sure.
No?
No, I haven't felt that. I'd like to try that. Yeah.
My cancer's back. I'm too young. I haven't done anything with my life.
I know it's cheesy, but everybody has a bucket list.
I've never even had an orgasm with another person.
Good. We have something for your list. Orgasm with another person.
Watching TV tired, bleeding on the bed. The milk is just expired, all the leaves are dead.
I joined a dating app.
You're immunocompromised. You can't just sleep with strangers.
This is about how I feel, and I want to feel things.
Wait, so am I supposed to operate under the premise that that's, like, true? That she's just like, fuck it?
Yes.
Would you take a picture of me slapping my own butt?
Butthole or no butthole?
A hint of butthole.
Oh, be yourself, actually.
You give me chills, I've had it.
The people I have sex with, especially older women.
Leave.
The difference between being the fun friend and taking care of somebody means you have to be there when she's in pain.
Can you please see my friend?
Of course.
Are you a clown?
I didn't know I was capable of loving someone this much.
Look at how many pictures of penises I'm getting. How did he get so hard in the middle of a forest?
It's like a sunflower bending toward the sun itself.
I'm so sorry.
Are you on some kind of sex quest?
A sex quest? I want to feel everything for as long as I can.
Touch me. Please.
I'm so sorry. He's being very bad.
Yeah.
I noticed that they left out the part about the husband.
Right. So I looked a little bit into the story of the woman it's based on, Molly Kochen. She died in 2019, and then her memoir was published posthumously in 2020.
Okay.
And the name for the series is from the name of her podcast that she started in real life, Dying for Sex. That's the name of the woman's podcast. Okay. And there's little known about her marriage or her husband because they kind of fictionalized him for the show. The real identity of Molly Kochen's husband is still unknown. He remained anonymous and was not named in her book or anything. But there's no mention of him being abusive. There's no mention of him anything.
So he was just a normal guy.
Just a normal guy.
Who loved his wife.
Yeah.
And because feminism is inherently selfish and self-absorbed, she must leave the marriage to fulfill something so vain and shallow.
But it's more than feminism. It's like feminism and sexual libertinism taken to its most radical conclusion, which, as she said in the trailer, is, I want to feel everything for as long as I can. And there's another slogan in the promotional poster that says, there's no wrong way to feel better. Meaning she is, in a way, treating her medical diagnosis with sexual experimentation.
Well, I mean, she's using her medical diagnosis as an excuse to do all of the bad things that she already felt inclined to do anyways.
It's sort of like getting drunk and like your inhibitions are lowered, but you would never do something while you're drunk that you would never even conceive of doing sober.
Well,
So
I
it's
mean,
just something
even-
that was in the back of your mind already.
Even that argument doesn't even hold water here, because even if you don't believe that, just by doing it, that doesn't make it right. Whereas this argument is saying that because she's sick, that makes it okay. Whereas if you do something like that when you're drunk, that doesn't make it okay.
No,
So
neither.
Yeah.
They interviewed Michelle Williams in The Hollywood Reporter about this show, and they say the actress who stars in the Spicy series, based on a true story, discusses her character's journey with sexual discovery and forgiveness. Quote, "I want to disconnect pleasure and shame."
Remember like 2 years ago when I said women are always looking to forgive themselves?
Her diagnosis sparks her to leave her husband of over a decade, Steve, and embark on a journey to explore her sexual desires and kinks with herself and several random men she meets on dating apps, in addition to quote-unquote neighbor guy. While Dying for Sex is filled with raunchy and hilarious scenes of Williams venturing into BDSM and trying her partner's fetishes, all in hopes of achieving her goal to experience an orgasm, her plight also highlights her confronting the trauma she endured at an early age, which is where her issues with sexual intimacy come from. So the themes of forgiveness they're referencing are in regard to her mother. She discovers in the series that the reason why she has issues or repression around her sexuality is because of being molested by her mother's boyfriend when she was a child.
Okay.
So there's another excuse you have for her divorcing her husband and doing all of this. It's her trauma.
If I was the showrunner and I was trying to, again, make something feminist that at least had a slight amount of appeal to the average everyday person who isn't a piece of shit, I would have made her single. I wouldn't have I wouldn't have had her married.
Well, that's not what happened.
I don't care.
Unfortunately.
I mean,
the
you
real...
say that like Hollywood documentaries and biopics are the bastion of truth and true telling. No.
But they would only change a story to make it worse.
Yes.
Is the thing. So like the real tragic version of what happened in this woman's life is just horrifying and disgusting enough that they're fine with using it just the same way. So like Hollywood will certainly respect the source material if it's already degenerate and gross and nihilistic.
My hope is that somebody writes a book about the husband who went out and banged her best friend.
We know nothing about the
That's
husband.
what I want.
Guess that's
I
the
want to. I want to
follow-up.
find out that after they got divorced, the husband got revenge in some fashion.
That's the spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Picturing that awful scene in Saltburn. They ask her in this interview, there are so many sex scenes in this show. When you were first reading the script, which scene intimidated you the most? Which one were you excited about? And did that change when you were filming? She goes into her answer, the things that you've tried to free yourself from as a grown woman and also as a parent of a daughter in my attempt to untangle myself from these ideas that were given to me so I could break from that tradition and pass something different on to my daughter. Perhaps I heard a tiny alarm bell in the back of my brain saying, oh, that might be embarrassing, or somebody might be upset with you, and what will so-and-so think? But then my next thought was, fantastic. This is exactly what I set out to do. I want to disconnect pleasure and shame. That's really one of the journeys that the character goes on. So she can experience something that's meant for her that is pleasurable without feeling bad for it, or something that's going to befall her because of it. So I leapt wholeheartedly into these scenarios, whether they be masturbatory sequences or partnered with these people she meets along the way.
Look, it's feel bad about what you did to your husband first, and then you can address the rest of it. Like, I'm not going to, I'm not here to morality police sexuality. I am, however, going to morality police your absolute abhorrent treatment of somebody you claim to love and want to spend the rest of your life with. Yeah. You're a bad person either way. You're an awful person either way, and the sex is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. Divorcing him for that specific purpose makes her a bad person.
Right, of course.
But the thing is
and that is exactly
tying the
to
shame,
speak ill of the dead. By the way,
they're tying the shame of the sex acts and saying that it's about that when really it should be about the awful things that led to that, which is, throwing your marriage vows away.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yep.
So I think that this is just par for the course now. I found it more heinous, really, that it's based on a true story, because at least when you're watching one of these other shows like White Lotus and it's incest scenes between brothers, you can at least like think, okay, fine, this just came out of someone's deranged mind, like they just made it up, right? But knowing that this happened in real life and it's being celebrated as some kind of inspirational story for everyone, like she's living her Chelsea Handler dream life.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said she's Michelle Williams is Chelsea Handler adjacent.
Literally, like, this is what would happen if Chelsea Handler got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. This is what it would be.
I would like to know more about the actual case before I pass total judgment. I don't know how much of this has been fictionalized and how much of it is true. But if everything that I'm seeing here is true to story, then that's awful.
It is, and they heavily involved Molly Kokin's friend, who she started the podcast with, in the creation of the script. So, as far as I know, this is almost entirely accurate to reality, except for the details they made up about her husband.
Okay, well, that was awful. Let's move
You're
on.
welcome.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.